Hey,
You.
hey there, hey there.
How are you today?
Doing well, doing swell. I was just doing a little meditation in preparation.
Oh, okay. What do you get from meditation?
Say again?
What do you get from meditation? What do you benefit from meditation?
Oh, it just recenters my mind, you know, recenters myself. It's like a recalibration before the conversation,
Oh,
you know.
I like that. Okay. So for me, I use it as a
As a what?
rest.
Oh, okay. And I just want to make sure if you can hear me clearly.
Yeah.
Can you see me and hear me?
Mm-hmm. Can
Okay.
you can hear me?
Yes, I can now. There you go. Okay.
So it's coming in and out?
No, I can hear you now. Somebody said, oh, divine restoration. Shout out to Invincible Goddess.
Yeah. Yeah. What does that mean? Rest.
Divine restoration, they said. Because you said for you it's a rest.
Yes, it is a rest. I normally meditate after a long sleep, or that's every morning basically. I feel like after I've slept, it's like I have done something. I've been on a journey I need to rest from. So I need to sit in meditation just to rest from the sleep and then start my day. That's how I see it. But also how to just accept the thought patterns, like the thoughts are just there. And yeah, that's how I see it. How often do you meditate?
You reminded me just now when you said the rest and kind of like waking up from a sleep. Because it's interesting, you just put up not too long ago about divine timing.
Yeah, today.
And you said something about how divine timing is like waking up from a long sleep. What did you mean by that?
I mean, I feel like accept the time that we have created, meaning like from the time between today and tomorrow. Is this an illusion? There is no time between today and tomorrow. It's just today, right? So it's a concept that we have in the mind that there is a tomorrow, and from today we're going to tomorrow, right? So that time is an illusion, but the time where you just wake up from a sleep, you don't sleep and then plan like, okay, let me wake up. It just happens, right? Every morning you just open your eyes and it happens. That's a divine timing to me. It was your time to wake up. It's the same with death. Death is also divine timing. It's just waking up from this dream.
Okay, so it's just waking up from this one, but it's still in divine order.
Hmm. Death is a divine order. Even if you get free, no, that was time. There's no coincidence. Everything is in divine timing.
So are we sleeping right now?
Yeah, sleepwalking. We
Are we
are.
are we sleep talking?
We sleep talking. We sleepwalking. Once you figure out that you are, you are. Otherwise, you are awake as you think you are.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I like to think that we are like, imagine like your subconscious is doing everything. You're not awake to it, right? I won't be able to read the comments today, but you are.
Oh, the goddess said everything goes according to divine
Hmm.
order and intertwined like wine. I like that. Ooh, intertwined like wine. Come on now. They said exactly it comes when it's meant for you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's your breath. You don't take. It just happens. That's a divine timing. And between each breath, I think it's a divine timing. Next inhale coming is a divine timing. It's not time that you put in, okay, every second I have to breathe. That's the illusion. So everything with divine timing, like this, whatever that's happening is a divine timing too.
So, how do you feel like we should live like there's no tomorrow? How does one live like there's no tomorrow?
You gotta live today.
Hmm.
You have to live today. You have to know that it is only today. It is only today. Like, it's not even a saying. I know people are like, live in the moment, do that. You have no other options but to live in the moment. Otherwise, you're just living in an illusion. There are no other options but the moment. Hmm. If you are not living in the moment, you just, you choose to be in a dream. That's fine also. You can keep on dreaming.
Well, when you say you choose to be in a dream, we're already dreaming.
Hmm.
So you have no choice.
You have choice to wake up from it somehow. But then at the same time, you're still in the dream.
Right.
You will
So,
always be in the dream until actually your day is gone. Today you go out of this. But how can you be awake in a dream and maneuver in the dream when you're awake, knowing that it is a dream?
like a lucid dream.
Hmm. So when you wake up to this reality, it's like you lucid dreaming, kind of. You're aware that it's a dream, but then you're moving around it. The only time you will go in the rabbit hole is like when you feel like it's real. You make it into real, but it's not.
Should we not go down the rabbit hole?
I go all rabbit holes. So I wouldn't say don't, because that's where you learn everything too. If you don't go into this rabbit hole, you will never know kind of what's in there. It's all about how you take yourself out of the holes, not about going inside. It's okay to go inside, but come out of it. It's, just come out of it. There is no hole that's better than the other hole.
So you escaped the other hole and you ran to another hole.
Yes, yes. When you find out meditation is like, you think like you found out something magical, and then you find out something else and you think that's magical, and then you just go into a different rabbit hole. There's nothing wrong with it. Go into the rabbit holes and then find out like, okay, it's a hole. But once you stay in there, that's the problem.
Because you said going into the rabbit hole is how you find out.
Mm-hmm.
So, to a certain degree, is that what life's all about?
If you think of life as a dream, and you're gonna maneuver in the dream, there's a lot of traps in the dream. Just see the rabbit holes as the traps. So in a way, what was your question again? I'm watching a cat out there. What if he's doing?
You watching a cat?
Cat doing something else out there.
The cat down the road, she watching the cat over there. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
You know.
What was the question?
The cat's out lurking and the bird's out chirping. I see you showed us the birds chirping today. And now you looking out, you seeing the cats lurking today. So you said a rabbit hole is almost like a mousetrap.
Yes. But it can look like it's not a mouse trap. It's not a trap necessarily. It's an illusion. Like each rabbit hole looks different. It will look so real. It looks like nice. It looks like what you want to hear. It looks like what you want to see. So that's the trap. Once you go in there, everything you want may be in there, but that's not what you need. So you need to get out of it. So it's in getting out of the rabbit holes. If you stay in one, then you accept the comfort, like, okay, I'm going to live in this lie, because each rabbit hole is a lie too. It's just illusion. Get it?
So it's what you want, but it's not what you need. So what do you need?
Nothing. It's just the mind. It's complete. We are complete. We all complete, really. It's just like the story that we make up and things that we make, we create our own little sufferings, because the mind likes to do that. And then we call that, things that happen to us. and things that no, we create as we go.
Okay. So why ever venture into the hole in the first place?
Why adventure it to the
Why
whole?
venture? Yeah, why venture into the hole in the first place if you're already
Because you
whole?
haven't
Why?
accepted it. Once you, if you accept that you are whole, you will never go into these rabbit holes, believing that those are by I will go into a rabbit hole because I'm just curious. I'm I'm just curious. I'm just playing. But there's no way I will go into the rabbit hole and take something from there and to feel like that would complete me. I'm already whole. I'm just going in there just out of curiosity because I'm still playing as a human. But no, people who go into these different holes, that's when you don't know that you're whole. If you know you're whole, you have no business in trying to find something to make you whole.
Okay, so you already know, Nabiha, they say curiosity killed the cat,
Mm-hmm.
but satisfaction brought her back.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever gone into a hole and regretted the act?
Yes, I've regretted a lot of holes until I realized there's nothing to regret. There's nothing to regret. That experience was necessary. It would had to happen. So there's nothing. It's just because of I attached my expectation to something, and if it didn't happen that way, that's the only way I can get disappointed. So no, not anymore. It is what it is.
So acceptance. Why was it necessary?
You know, I really don't think you will learn anything without lessons. Without having these little, obstacles in life, I don't think you would ever learn anything. So I don't understand why we discard them, why we think they're like something that's bad. But the only reason why we learn something is because of our little obstacles in life, difficulties in life. If you didn't have that difficulty, you would never see like, okay, you would never know how to move through it. You would never know how it is on the other side either. So it's necessary.
So, so challenge is necessary for
Mm-hmm.
growth.
There is no growth without challenge. How's that even possible? How's that possible? It doesn't work like that. Yeah.
And if you're already whole and complete, what do you feel you're growing into? What is flourishing, blossoming, and blooming in your walk of life?
You know, a tree is whole and complete, but it still grows its leaves, It does. That's just being a tree. So I believe we all just grow through this whole life, like by just finding out more of ourselves, more leaves to yourself. So yeah. It's not like, you're whole and complete and nothing matters anymore. But just knowing the fact that you're whole would help you just understand everything is happening without your control. So you just flow through life.
You see what you did there? You see it? Knowing that you are whole will help the things that aren't in control.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You're not whole. It's just when you hold on to something, you think of something, that's the suffering. That's the creation of suffering, literally. Holding on to ideas, holding on to people, holding on to anything is just a problem. That's how you create the suffering.
And you place the importance on the knowing.
Mm-hmm. It,
So with mhm.
go ahead.
It's what?
No, go ahead.
So you place the importance on the knowing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not talking about believing, but knowing.
Don't do knowing like that, okay? Knowing is not here for me. It's here.
Okay, so I should so
Mhm.
knowing in your heart.
Yes, the knowing is never in the mind, by the way.
Okay.
The mind the mind makes up the other stuff. My knowing is never in the mind. My speculations are here.
So, okay, so the mind and the heart are not far apart.
No, no. But
This is where it starts. It starts in the heart.
mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
here sometimes, but it's always here. The knowing is in the heart, So like when I move through life, I know within me, even if my mind is speculating a lot of stuff, even if my mind is like questioning everything, within me there's a knowing. There's nothing to speculate and to do this because I am home. But then to satisfy the mind is it's a little kid kind of, You have to keep it entertained all the time. So somehow my mind will question, what is this and why that and why that and why this and why this? But still, I have the knowing.
And if you know in the mind that you are always whole, what is the difference between the mind and the soul?
The mind and the soul. I came from a non-duality meeting, so the soul is in my head. I was just saying, soul do not exist, but yeah, the mind hold on to the story, the artificial, the story that you make up every day. Yeah, your name, your achievements, where you're heading, where you think you are, blah blah. That's the mind, But the known, the you within doesn't have a story. Doesn't have a story. So if you think of the body and the mind carrying in a story, that's what we're attached to. So it's the story. I feel like it's the story that we are attached to. It's the me, it's the mind. While the knowing is just the pure energy that you are. So once you drop the mind and you drop this, ideas, it's just a pure energy. It's not attached to becoming something. Like, for example, I want to become a monk, I want to become enlightened, I want to become this. All of that drops with the mind. The mind likes to become something. The mind wants to be something, right? So all of that is gone once the mind is gone.
So it's good to lose the mind.
Of course. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You don't want to lose half of it and live here. But if you drop the whole mind, yeah, you're free. You're free. But how?
When you say that you let go of the story,
Mm-hmm.
you let go of illusion, you let go of delusion. Is this the conclusion? We read books.
Yeah.
And when we take a look inside the book, we see chapters.
Mm-hmm.
We flip through the pages and we see different stages of life through the story and the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But with ourselves, when you say as well that we can tell through letting go of that story, that sounds like we don't have a beginning and we don't have an end.
No, there is no beginning and end. Beginning and end is a concept attached to the mind. So if you don't have the mind, there's no way you will create something that starts and ends. It doesn't exist. It's just the mind that has to create a period of time. This ends here, this starts here, ends here. But there's no such thing. There's no beginning and end. It's the beginning and end to the me story. You're born one day, you die one day. So it's the concept of born, dying. It's a beginning and ending. But it's just a concept. There's no way there's an end to me. I know that. There is no way. I tried. There's an end to this body. It's okay. That's fine. Everything here expires as well, but there is no end.
So like you can look at a milk carton and you can see the expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
But for yourself, there's no expiration date.
No, but it is for the body. Yeah, the body has to do because the body is an item. It is a 3D object here on this 3D planet, right? So everything here, goes and becomes one with the earth. Is that an ending? No, it's not ending either. So if when you die and you become one with this planet, you still continuously here. Your body, whatever that's in there, it's still here. But there's an end to the story. Just like you said in the book, there's an end to Jerome's story. There's an end to my story. It can't continue after I drop the mind. There's no way I continue me, on a journey after death. And this is what I did. No, there's an end to the me, but there's no end to you. Just whatever you made up, it's end to whatever you made up.
Okay, okay. So, in knowing that eventually these things will come to pass, you know, that there is an end, does that give it all meaning?
That there is no end, you mean?
That there is an end, does that give it more meaning?
When people think of there is an ending, it gives kind of like a comfort to the mind, because the mind just only grasps beginning and end, because it can't grasp anything else but the beginning and end. That's how the mind is conditioned. So when we say something ends, it kind of gives our mind like a comfort. Okay, this is an end to that, so we just leave it alone. But there's no end.
Earlier you said, I tried, there's no end, like I tried.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean when you said I tried?
Um, so I can say in meditation, every time I'm in meditation, I'm 100% not this body at all. So that thing that's not the body has no end to it. Has no end to it. Like I try to imagine it. I try to take it away. Like since I was a kid, I tried to take away that it's not the body, but it's not going anywhere, and it's not the me attached to the story of me. When I talk about myself and I say this is me, this is who I am, it's not that. That's that story that's attached to this body. But whatever that's beyond that, I can't make it disappear.
Can you say that one more time?
I said whatever that's in me that it's not the body, I can't make that disappear. Even if I try, like my body, I can imagine like, okay, when I die, I know I will not be no longer of this story, the me story is ended. But whatever that's within, that's actually speculating all of this, that's in there, it's not going away. It's always there. So I don't think it's an end to that. So even if my whole story is gone, my body is gone, that thing is just there. I just can't put words to it. I don't want to call it soul or whatever people call it, but it's just pure energy. It's just there.
You remind me, Nabiha, I heard somewhere Miyamoto Musashi, the author of the Book of Five Rings. He was one of the samurai back in those ages where they used to duel, to the death. Like they would have a showdown. And the samurai, before they would face another, and he faced so many. Like he was one of the ones that came out of so many duels and still lived to tell the tale, And they would meditate on death.
Wow.
They would meditate on dying, on death and dying, and they would learn the art of dying. And then after they meditated on death, they got comfortable with that idea, that concept, and then they went into battle, and they clashed swords, and that was it, the last one standing. And when you said that you envisioned it. Is that what you meant when you would go into meditation? You would envision that?
Death, yeah. Me after death. I would call it like after the body drops, that. I don't know what to call it, but after your body drop onto the air, like this is the 3D, this is where it belongs. That, the you, not you, but whatever that's left of it, that was keeping it together. That I can't put words to it. But where am I after that? After I drop the body, where am I standing? Where am I standing? Am I, sitting? I'm just everything, just like air, like in space. There's no objects and anything around me, but I'm just there. Awareness, basically. I'm just pure awareness. So, yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
And was it easier for you to face that finality, the grand finale, when you formed it in your mind, in your consciousness?
I used to be scared of death because I didn't know. Because of the unknown, I was scared of it. So after realizing that, yeah, I'm definitely not scared. Definitely not scared. But death just becomes like, not death. It's not an end. It's not a beginning, but it's definitely end to a suffering. Definitely end to the suffering. So my mind can go further, speculate, like, okay, what is this then? If the suffering we're doing is suffering, what is this? When you drop the suffering, you feel peace. So is death peace? Why do we fear it?
So when you say it's the end to all suffering, by all appearances, you appear to be a very peaceful person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you go through suffering day to day? Are there periods of suffering and periods of peace, or are the two interlinked?
I mean, confusion is suffering. Confusion itself is suffering, not knowing what would happen after death is suffering itself. So suffering, I don't mean necessarily like something that happened to you and you feel like, life is not it. It's not on your way. But I mean by just having question. Every question I have is a suffering. I feel like it's a suffering because why would I have to speculate everything? Why am I here not knowing anything? Isn't that suffering itself? And why are people going through different things? Why are people suffering? Like not only my suffering, but just looking at someone else suffering is a suffering. So why are we in this plane of suffering?
Because you have a big heart, you know? And like you said, looking at someone else's suffering is suffering. So I can imagine that you would feel other people suffering as they're suffering.
Mm-hmm. It is our suffering. Another person's suffering is our suffering. This is a collective thing, So if you think of energy, and energy trust me, like this room here, if I had like, just say 5 people that had their mind in the wrong place, the energy in this room would be filled with the suffering, confusion, because these 5 people that I have in the room are not aligned with themselves, right? That energy goes out. So collectively, that's what we do. So if you see a brother that's confused or sister that's confused, that collective energy is part of the atmosphere, where you're at. So we're not separating. Even if you get ease from your own suffering, the suffering around you will affect you,
And you also said that with confusion being suffering, you said not knowing feels like suffering.
It is. It is suffering. Knowing, to me at least, is suffering. And knowing some things can also be suffering. Hmm. It's different. This whole planet is just about suffering. The mind is here to create the sufferings. I don't know.
Is there ever a balance? When did you find that you learned something, and by having that knowing, by having that knowledge, you suffered?
Hmm. That's when I say, like, some people live in their comfortable life, okay, and they're good there, and then you tell them something that you find out, like, hey, this whole thing is not real, for example, right? That becomes the suffering for them. Their reality, you shatter their reality, right? What they know, what they see, what they find comfort in, just shattering that is a suffering. So sometimes some people are best living in the lie because they couldn't handle the truth. So I can't remember your question again, but but yes, some people can really, they don't need to know a truth because that truth will hurt them. Not all truth will set you free, If you're not ready for it, it will prison you. Like, oh my God, I miss my reality. Now you can't get back to the fantasy because of somebody have taken away that from you. So you can rob someone's reality like that.
So, if you can recall, what was a truth that robbed you of your fantasy?
That was the question. Um, that was, what is it? Just waking up to this whole planet, to the world is difficult. Sometimes I wish I was just asleep. Mm-hmm. There's certain things that I see, um, it could be governmental thing, it could be, political stuff and stuff that I wish I just didn't know. Yeah.
So you said sometimes you wish you were asleep,
Mm-hmm.
but we're already dreaming.
Yeah, but I'm awake in the dream. I wish I could just go back to sleep sometimes, but I'm awake walking around.
And where would you be if you hadn't been robbed of that fantasy? What truth would you be living in now?
Hmm. You mean if I didn't wake up to myself, I would probably just walking around, doing normal things, having a normal job. I still have a normal job, but I would really believe in becoming something. And I love that I dropped that idea, you know, but I think I will be chasing becoming something all the time. More entertainment in my life. Right now, it's like, oh my God, there's nothing to become. Even though I like experiments and stuff, I just know there's nothing to become. And it's just like, kind of boring. But yeah, I think I would just wanted to become something. That's what I would be doing. I wanted to become enlightened. I wanted to become this or that. That's what I would be doing.
So if it feels so boring, you wouldn't mind exploring?
No, if life wasn't so boring, you said, or you mean? No, it's boring after you wake up to it. When you wake up to like right now, I know that I was just talking to Fabi. Like we wrote so many books and read so many books and wrote so many books and because I was always like, oh, I found this and this. It was so excitement in it. But once I just find out, like I'm not going anywhere, nothing to become, and it's just like acceptance. You need to accept yourself in the moment right now. That seems to be difficult because you drift away to the illusion sometimes. So yeah.
And even in that excitement, you know, is that a form of enlightenment?
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. It's not, yeah, that can be enlightenment. The other enlightenment I'm talking about is like people attaching it to spirituality, like spiritual journey. I can say I used to be on a spiritual journey. I think I wrote a post about that. I used to be on a spiritual journey. I'm not anymore. I'm on no journey. Yeah. So it is excitement sometimes, just like in the Matrix when that guy was just going back to play, to eat, even though he knew it was illusion. Yeah, I can do that. I can go back.
Yeah, Cypher, you know, he turned on the Nebuchadnezzar crew. He said, "Ignorance is bliss."
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Mm,
Wow. He couldn't resist. He said, "Ignorant is bliss."
yeah. But we do that. I feel like I do that every day. Hmm. You live in the lie, pretend to be in the lie when you know it's a lie.
You choose the lie?
Yeah, you pretend every day. You you have to pretend the lie sometimes. So otherwise people will call me crazy, cuckoo, this, and I need to step into the illusion sometimes.
Wait. So stepping into the illusion is a solution.
Hmm. It's like, when you go to a party, for example, and I pretend like I'm eating something. I didn't have to, but I need to play in the illusion, right? Just to avoid those questions about this, because I have no time dealing with all those minds, right? It's the same thing in everyday life. You have to pretend a little bit.
So it's okay to play to avoid what they may say.
Hmm. Because, yeah, you know exactly what they would say. You already know. So why would you go through, that suffering when you can just pretend and then make the show look like, okay, you're still playing in this play that they are in, and then you just step out of the act when you're by yourself. Yeah.
So so this is really your show.
Yeah.
Did you always know?
No. Mm-mm. I did not know. I didn't know I had a show. But once you find out it's your show, you find out your character in the show, you can play. It's like you see another act and another act and another act, and then find your role in each act. Step in. But you're not that role. You're not that person. It's just different roles. So I can act in different roles consciously now. Before I was the victim of all these characters. It's like, okay, I'm this character, and then I am the character. I think I am the character. But it's not. You're never that. You're just this vessel acting those different characters.
That is so profound, Nabiha. So with each role that you're playing,
Mm-hmm.
what price are you paying?
Yeah. Mm. Uh, if you're not aware of it, you're paying a big price. A big price. But once you know about it, you can actually get paid by playing. You come back, seriously. I feel like I reward myself every time I play. Okay,
So
to go now.
you said once you know, you get paid to play.
Hmm.
So the more you learn, the more you earn.
Hmm. Yes, really. Really. Imagine play, okay? And you know your character, like, okay, this is a play. The rest don't know. Okay? You go in there, you play, you come out of that character, and then you get back to yourself, and you know yourself. That's a reward. Imagine just going in there and then you're a character, and then you come out there with that character, being that character, thinking that you're a character, and then life hits you because of you not that character. So yeah, you either pay or you get paid.
You leave me speechless sometimes. Just listening to you is like you blow my mind.
Just playing. Like, yeah, life is fun. Really, it's a mystery, but at the same time, it's super easy. There's nothing to find out, you know. Really, there's nothing to find out. But all of us are just chasing to find something, to be something, to do something. Like, chill out, relax, relax, sit down. You ain't going nowhere. No time. No, I have no time for running anymore. Really. Yeah.
She said, relax. It ain't going nowhere.
Mm-mm.
It'll be
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
right? Like Nabiha, it'll be there.
It will be there. Just
Just,
be.
just be there.
Just there. Yes. Exactly. Be there. Everything will also be there. Like, there is no way. Everything is here. Okay? Everything is here. No matter where you are, everything you need is there. It's just like, can you tap into it? That's all it is. Can you tap into it? But if you really think that, okay, it's not here, it's somewhere else, it will be somewhere else. It's just a thought, If what you're seeking is like, if your mind tells you, oh, I need to chase it, I need to go and get it, I need to do, then you might as well just go and chase whatever that chasing is going to take you, But you don't have to chase. So why create the thought of chasing something when it's just right here?
That really reminds me of there was a book I read, Nabiha. The author was Paulo Coelho. You probably heard of this book. It was called The Alchemist.
Yeah, probably.
And the boy in The Alchemist, his mind was racing and he was chasing everything that he thought was over there. But it was because he was unaware that it was right where he was the whole time. He actually had to go and then grow to come back to see that it was always there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the spiritual journey. People, when they go on spiritual journeys, like, they go out, but then eventually they just figure out they didn't have to go nowhere. It was right here. That's the spiritual journey. But I think everybody has to go on the illusion journey, trying to find out this, and that, and then you will just find out it's here. Sometimes you can have a message in front of you, right there, every day for years and years and years. One day, that message would click for you, but it was always there. It never went anywhere. It was just right there. It's just you have to be aware of it. It's the same with everything else. You need to be aware of it. You have to be present to be aware of it. But none of us are present. Everybody's just chasing and going and getting and this and that all the time. So that's why we can't capture that everything is actually here, because we create the movement of something being there, something being out there. How can you even think that everything outside of yourself will complete you? It doesn't even make sense if you think about it. There's nothing outside of yourself that can ever complete you, because whatever that's going on with you is not outside of yourself, but it's within yourself. So, but we want to go out and then find out something that would go in here, whether it is in the mind or in the mouth or whatever, to fix it. But no, it's just in here. And that's why it's here. You get it? I did
So don't fix what isn't broken.
Mm-mm. Yeah. But we all think we are broken. There's nothing to fix.
These are wise words spoken. Don't fix what's not broken.
so simple yet so, it's so simple yet so difficult for someone to just grasp the concept of like, hey, everything is here. Even when you think like you're traveling to another country or something like that, I feel like it's just a change perspective. You still just there, here. You know, you think you flew somewhere, you think you go somewhere, but it's just your mind that has shifted. So
So you said one day everything will click and everything will stick. You
mhm.
know, like shout out to Sissy, it'll stick.
Every day, and then you will know it's just there's nothing to be afraid of. There, it's kind of like a pre-ending of the suffering, even though death is the only ending to suffering, in my opinion. Um, I believe that acceptance of that everything just is and is right here, and you know you don't have to control everything. That's kind of like a like end of to suffering, but not completely. You don't longer no need suffering, you know, like going somewhere, thinking you have to become something, thinking you have to do something, you know, or all of that would just go away. You don't have to. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to become anything. You already are. Just accept it. Accept it.
And accepting that as well, do you feel, is it almost nonsense to try suspending the ending?
Yeah. You mean like prolonging it or
Well, suspending the ending, like prolonging,
yeah. Um, if I understood you correct.
because you said there's a pre-ending.
Well, yeah.
But some people are, they go out of their way to be suspending the ending. Some people do it through technology, some people do it through health, energetic longevity, you know, different practices, but they're trying to elongate that story, right?
Yeah, but what are you prolonging though? Like if if you have just accepted that it's all just now, there's nothing to prolong actually. But if you're still attached to the suffering and, you know, let's say like people who are attached to the immortality, they want to be immortal. They want to live forever. I'm like, okay, that's like prolonging the suffering to me. So for what reason are you doing that? Like, are you curious on finding out more suffering? Or what's the reason why it's for you to get attached to immortality? That just means like you haven't accepted the now. You haven't accepted that you're present, and it's just, you know, the body has an expiration date. There's no reason why to hold on to this, you know, thing. This is a vehicle, you know. So knowing that you are more than this body, you will never think like, okay, I want to live forever, because there's no reason to hold on to a body for forever and then hold on to these memories and this, and that's the suffering. That's the suffering. So yeah, I don't understand mortality. I really don't.
Wow, wow, Navi. I love your perspective. You know, this is this is what we need in the collective. More people to understand these things that, like you said, they're so simple.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. You know, it's acceptance. It's all within you. You know, nobody can make it click for you. There's no way. I know at least nobody could make it click for me. No guru, no book can make me understand. It was just like I had to just sit and accept it. Like, okay, what is it? Like, I'm so tired of entertaining these things, you know? So it's just sit with yourself, you know? The best way you can do is focus on you. Instead of like, let's say like, don't even focus on the universe. Don't focus on different teachings. Don't focus on anything outside of yourself. I know it sounds very boring when you're like, okay, focus on just me in the beginning, you know, but you are the whole universe. Really, once you figure out like, oh my God, I need to figure out me, then you will figure out everything is you. Everything is you. But if you start the journey on the outside, you will never come to, oh, it's just me, you know? So it would always become something else. You will always get attached to something having more power than you. Like whether it is like Buddha, whether it is like following something, religion or whatever it is, it's always like something higher than you. You will always rank everything higher than you, you know? But that's not what it is. You're higher than everything in a sense. So you have to look from within, then you will know that everything outside of yourself is just an extension of you. You know? You did it. I'm not confused with you. Well, I don't accuse you. But yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
it's just you. It's all about you. You know? Yeah.
Thank you for this message.
Thank you. You want to read some of those messages? I know, but I don't
Oh,
want messages. I can't
I
read.
didn't. We're already at 11. I didn't know if you had more time, but I can read them if you like.
I have time.
You just chilling?
Today I'm not working because my flight was canceled this morning. You see,
Okay, so
those situations, for example, this morning when my flight was canceled, did I feel anything? No. It is what it is. This Fabi asked me, and I was like, no, it is what it is. But those are the kind of things that we would do to create suffering. My flight is canceled. That could change somebody's whole mood because they attach expectation to it. I didn't even check when my flight was leaving until yesterday, and I bought it for like a few weeks ago. But until last night, that's the only time I checked, like, okay, this is the time I'm leaving. Yeah.
I love that. Able to embrace change. That's like a water bender. You flow with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
the
grow with it.
waterbender. I'm going to call you the waterbender. In my dreams, I'm an earthbender now.
Oh, you an earthbender now?
In my dreams, I'm an earthbender. And it's like the last thing I would do is like earthbender. I'm an airbender. I want to fly. So I'm a bird.
So we'll read one before we go.
Okay.
So they said, and shout out Akimtra. I love the people who just break the illusion, who just stand up in TV, leave the room, say the shocking truth clear as crystal. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really teach the way. Do you hear me? I said teach and preach is a waste of time. You can just be. You have like don't waste your time on preaching and teaching people something. The only person that you can teach and preach to is yourself. You don't hear me, huh? I had a phone call. Somebody was.
Well, now I hear you.
Oh my goodness! I was just talking. I
Yeah. So you said preach yourself
yeah,
and,
like
and teach yourself
mm-hmm,
to reach yourself.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can only preach and teach yourself, and then you can be, and that's the only way you will teach others is by you being. That's it. I teach
Right.
every day, but anyway, thank you so much. Always awesome talking to you, and thank you everyone who was here.
Always. Always a pleasure.
Much love.
Take care.